This week on Supercars Talk, we've got more new looks to talk about and there's a new commentary team. The big news this week is that Cam Waters is the latest father in the field. Baby Mila Kimberly Waters. Congratulations to Cam and his partner. Another dad in the field. But the actual big news around here this week is that we actually have racing this weekend. I will be doing a preview later on in the episode. The big thing to report this week, though, really has been the new commentary team. The headline of it all is that Mark Scaife will not be part of the commentary team at all this year. He will, however, be staying on. It looks like he'll be doing a news kind of show. Not too many details on it yet, whether it will be a weekly thing or whether it will just be, kind of around big events or something like that. But he will still be part of it. Neil Crompton, on the other hand, was offered a position for the 2 endurance rounds. He turned that down. I do not blame him for doing that. I think if I was him, I would have probably turned it down as well. Realistically, in his career, he doesn't need a bone like that. He probably has enough stuff to do. And could we see him pop up with a bigger role at Toyota as they're transitioning, into the supercars category? As for the TV team, though, we will have a familiar Jess Yates as the host. Garth Tander will be the lead commentator. Extremely happy about that. Something different this year, though. He will be joined by a rotating cast during different rounds. It will be Chad Nailon, Matt Nolte, and Richard Crail. All of them very experienced commentators. I think I've heard all of them commentate with Garth in the past at, different events or support categories. It will be very interesting to see whether that is more of an extended kind of audition for those guys to maybe find themselves with Garth Tander as that traditional 2-man commentary team moving, after this year, or whether it does work and we get that kind of, sometimes just having a little bit of difference does help. Also, James Courtney, Mark Winterbottom will be joining them in the bigger events. So not say like your Sydney Motorsport Park or Tasmania, but say, I think Townsville, Adelaide, places like that. They will be joining. Either one of them will be joining in as a 3-man commentary team. So you kind of have your 2 commentators and then one of them coming in with expert kind of views or whatever. They used to do this a lot back in, I remember when I started watching at Bathurst and that, they'd actually get drivers into the commentary booth who'd retired early. I think that's the kind of thing that they're going to, that'll be able to pick apart kind of, the racing and that a bit more. For the endurance races, which this was part of Neil Crompton coming in, they won't just have 2 men in the booth all day like we had, especially over the last few years, where it was just Scaife and Crompton for the whole day. They will play a bit of that rotating cast with a few different guys coming in and out, so it won't just be bang your whole day. In the pits, it will be a very similar with Larkham, Rhianna Crean, Craig Lowndes and Molly Taylor in the pits. I suppose Molly is probably new more for the KO people. I've seen a little bit of her work and probably been a bit disappointed that she was part of the 7 telecast and not so much in the supercars. I thought she did a really good job. Disappointing, Jack Perkins not listed as part of the cast, but then are you getting to the point where you've got too many? I would love to see Jack in there, probably instead of, say, Craig Lowndes. But then also Jack has a lot of other stuff going on where, Craig's well, he's got his job as a Chev ambassador, but that's about it. Also, there will be some new on-screen graphics to look at. They updated the totem down the side. Is there too much in the graphics with the team logos, which some of them seem to be the team logos, some seem to be sponsorship logos and things like that? Will that be tidied up a bit? Because I did see some spelling errors in people's names. Little criticism, we seem to have gone to that Formula One kind of the three-letter thing on some of them. Obviously, some names, I know from doing my graphics on, for this show with the results and stuff, some of the names are a hell of a lot longer than others. But yeah, maybe you have to a point where, maybe you look and there's, Heimgartner. I'm trying to think who else is a really long one now. I know Heimgartner is one of the ones, but maybe if you go, well, the average is kind of 8 long. Maybe we have, space for 10 letters, and someone like Heim, you put Jaime instead of Heimgartner down there. Anyway, yeah, it's an improvement. Big thing I would like to see, though, if we have like 1 or 2 wild cards, let's extend that totem down the side to show all of the people, squeeze it up a little bit, or, take a little bit from the top or bottom so that we see all of the names on there rather than it kind of, just cutting. There's no point in just cutting out 1 or 2 names. If you're gonna cut them out, make it a bit bigger or whatever, and just have, say, the top 20 or something like that. Anyway, the big test will be this weekend. It's exciting that we have racing back. So a quick preview for the weekend. It's hard. There's not a lot of form guide to go off. Obviously, last year, Tickford and Triple Eight were very strong. Cam Waters came out of the blocks swinging last year and had some really good results there. Too bad it didn't continue for the rest of the season. I do predict Triple Eight to still come out very strong with the Mustang. I think we might have some teething troubles for the Toyotas. It does seem to be, there is some rumblings that they might not be as strong at Sydney as what they will be later on. It will take them a little bit of time to get rolling for the year. I'm going to go a little bit out on a limb, though. I think we're going to see a really, really strong round from the Groves. I think those guys are going to be the ones to beat. I think it'll take a weekend or 2 before Triple Eight is really on top of the Mustangs. They will be strong, and I fully expect Tickford and DJR to be there in the fight. But my tip is for the Groves this weekend. Don't forget there is racing on Friday night. It's a 7:50, I think, on Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Check your local guides for that. At least it is late enough. Might miss qualifying, being at work on the Friday afternoon, but at least you definitely get the race in. Saturday and Sunday, go back to the normal kind of qualifying top 10 shootout, because we have to have top 10 shootouts everywhere, and then a race. Now, Super 2 are on this weekend, and I got to catch up with Campbell Logan during the week. So here is our catch up. And welcome back to the show for the first time in 2026. Now, Tickford racing driver, Campbell Logan. I see you got some new threads with a new haircut there.
I mean, you might be able to call this a bit of a livery review, I'm not sure, but done a little bit of a snip on the hair, which is nice. Probably needed to grow up a little bit in that aspect, and picked up this new gear, which I don't know if it's actually been released or not yet, but anyways, there you go. Little bit of a sneak peek.
Are there any sneaky extra sponsors down lower?
These are general Tickford pops. We get our own Autosport polos, but the jumpers and stuff are just sort of the main game ones, but they're pretty nice, to be honest. I like it.
Now, speaking of liveries, we did see a sneak peek of your car. Was that supposed to be released yet, or?
No. I mean, it's not a bad thing, right? But not ideal. I mean, it's not complete. There's still more logos to go on the car, which is cool. But I'm not quite sure why Speed Cafe leaked a It was mine and Gomersal's car. I'm not sure why they leaked Super 2 liveries, but anyways, yeah, it's out there now.
Is it as pink as what it looks in that photo?
It might be.
Okay. When do we get to see them properly?
Actually sorting that out with the team at the moment, but definitely before the first round. So we stay tuned on all my socials. There'll be and Tickford socials. There'll be something coming out soon.
So you have obviously been driving the car at Winton on a test day. How did that go?
Yeah, it was cool. I just got back home actually. Spent Tuesday, Wednesday. We did 2 days of testing, which is cool for me. I've never had 2 days of testing before rolling into a first round of Super 2. So it was, and I think it's even more important going to a new team to do that, right? Because I've got to learn, I've got to gel with my new engineer. I've got to learn a new car. Undoubtedly, before going to the test, I knew there was going to be things I needed to work on with my driving. And just learn. It's really good to have the opportunity to do a whole day of learning and then come back the next day and hit it quite hard. But it was really good. We all worked really well together. We all tried different stuff. It was super cool to work with Frosty. He's been really good on the off track side of stuff, and I've had a lot of good combos with him. But to get down to the nitty gritty of what makes you go faster, it was really cool. Like even just the driving side, but learning some of the tuning tools for the car because they are different to the tuning tools I'm used to from my previous 2 years in Super 2. The cars are set up a little bit different. There's different philosophies. But no, it was cool. It was really cool. It was you got to sort out little things like your ergonomics and fix your padding here and there and all that kind of stuff. But it was successful. It was a good couple of days and a lot was learnt. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Did it feel faster, bum of the seat?
It's hard to say. Like it's Winton, right? So the conditions. I mean, we had a Tuesday was 34 degrees, Wednesday was 39, so it was bloody hot. And it both days it got to a point where you end up sort of driving around and you're just going slower, and your tires are getting more Ks on them, and you're kind of trying to do changes and learn, but they're pretty numb because it's hot. But it was probably more interesting for me to feel the differences between the Walkinshaw and the Tickford cars and try adapt my driving to how the Tickford car needs to be driven. That was an interesting little challenge and something I enjoyed. It was good, really good to work with Frosty on, going into the test days, but also at the test day and just knuckle that down. But yeah, it was cool to see the strengths and the weaknesses of their cars and see why they've been so successful in the last year.
So heading into the year, obviously you're going to be champion at the end of the year. But who do you think is going to be your biggest challenger?
I'm not sure. Like it's one of those things. It's hard to know. Like it's obviously your teammates are the first people you want to beat, and Nash and Ruben were both very fast last year, and so was Gomo as well, and he's also very fast. So it's cool to have good teammates who you're able to look at. You might be better in this section, but they're doing something slightly better here. Like one driver, and then another driver's doing this better, and you all learn so quickly together. And even when you're trying different setup stuff, it's really beneficial. But I don't know. Like obviously Zach Best has come back. He'll be super quick. He's got a very proven record in Super 2. But I'm not sure. Like it's one of those things. That's the exciting thing about going racing for the first round. Everyone thinks they've got an equal chance of fighting for the championship, but you're not really sure until that first qualifying or that first race is done where you sit. So it'll be interesting. I'm just trying to stay focused on my process and working with the team so we can come out strong and see where that puts us.
So other than winning the championship, what are you looking forward to most this year?
In Super 2 or just in general?
Oh, well, it can be just in general.
I don't know. I think I've already started to do it. Obviously, work with the team and with Frosty. I think that's been really exciting, and it's been a nice fresh change. And they obviously have been super successful with their Super 2 program in general over the last number of years. But last year was just a clear standout. And looking through all the onboard and their data and speaking to the engineers and Frosty, I think Frosty's been such a key asset for me already, which has been really cool. And just using his experience, like he's really on top of things. He's super smart, and he understands everything it takes to be a good driver. So learning off him and being able to work closely with him is, I think that's probably on and off track the most exciting thing for me this year.
Have you been to the Happy Baker company or whatever it's called yet?
I haven't been to his bakery yet. No, every time I've gone to Melbourne to the workshop or anything, I've been sort of fly in, fly out really quickly. So not yet, but it's definitely on the list. Everyone at the workshop talks really highly of it, so I'd be very keen to give it a try.
As I suggest, though, probably not if you want to keep that good figure for racing. But what have you been up to over the off season?
A lot of not eating danishes and stuff like that, to be honest, which is kind of funny. But no, a lot of training. Probably the biggest amount of training I've done in a preseason before, and it's been really cool. We even did a preseason training camp with Tickford in Melbourne. All of us Super 2 drivers flew over. All the main game guys were there. Frosty was there. We spent a weekend and a little bit more doing some training, which is really good. You know, there's some things that everyone's stronger at and some things everyone's a little bit weaker at. So you walk out going, okay, I keep working on these areas I'm strong. Like I'm doing stuff well there, but then other areas where you're a little bit weaker and you can keep improving your game. So no, a lot of running, a lot of cycling. I've been getting into cycling. I just bought a bike at the back end of last year, which has been really good fun. I really enjoy it. And then obviously just a lot of gym stuff as well. But that's been keeping me really busy. On top, when you start to mix in trying to raise all your sponsorship, it's a tricky time of year. December, January, February, you want to try to get it all sorted for the year, but everyone's kind of, are they at work? Are they not? But yeah, that's been keeping me quite busy. And then a little bit of driver coaching as well, just getting my scholarship and GR Cup guys for Apogee Motorsport prepared for the year ahead.
So what would you say you were strong at?
On the training camp?
Yeah.
The running and the strength side was good, but then we went swimming and I was just absolutely hopeless. And it wasn't even, I wasn't even close to being, I was last by a long way. It wasn't even close.
That's fine. You don't have to do any swimming in Super 2.
I think if you were, then you've got a few issues, hey?
No, that's great to hear. And we'll be looking forward to cheering you on at Sydney Motorsport Park and for the rest of the season. So all the best, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on again, Dave.
Once again, a massive shout out to Campbell Logan. And if you missed it, I caught up with Cody Bircher as well last week. We'll definitely be cheering on those boys this weekend. I get really excited with the Super 2 stuff. I love seeing the younger guys out there having a crack. It will be interesting as well to, see how Alice Buckley goes out there. Can people actually challenge the Tickford cars, or are they just going to walk away with it again this year? There is some liveries coming out this week as well. I might wait to really have a bit of a deep dive on those guys because we haven't seen many, and then I may have seen a couple already that haven't been released, and I'll maybe have a look at the category and do a best and worst kind of thing once we've seen them all. But speaking of liveries, we did get to see a few more main game ones this week. There is still a few standouts that we haven't yet seen. Hopefully they turn out all right. But of the ones we did get to see this week, there was the two Team 18 cars, Anton De Pasquale, the DeWalt cars. They always look good. Something about that black and yellow, it just really works. I love the detail up the rear quarter panel with the little Chev logos kind of fading in. One thing I will, like the Reynolds car, I wish they did that a bit more on that. That really, really happy with that. However, I will say the Hino logo on the rear quarter panel and the Coke logo on the front quarter panel, obviously those companies want their red backgrounds, but they do look a bit like, I got a sticker and just stuck it on rather than integrating it into the livery. I will say the Dave Reynolds livery, Snowy River ones, that colour scheme as well, always really good. So Team 18, they have got now two cars with they look very good, both of them, just the way the colours work together. But they have been able to tow to forklifts and then tradie. on the rear quarter and the front quarter panel on that one. They have been able to integrate them without, the Toyota forklifts traditionally has a red background on it. The tradie logo, I think you see it on the underwear stuff, and it is that kind of, black band with white writing, so it fits in quite well. Overall, though, I am really I think both of those cars look great, and although there's nothing really screaming like we are the Chev factory team, it does look like, very professional for the factory team. As for Toyotas this week, we did get to see one more, the Andre Heimgartner R&J Batteries car. I like this more than the Walkinshaw cars. There we go. I think they integrated this design better into the Supra than what the Walkinshaw cars did. Having said that, when we see them on track racing and all that, then I will fully pass judgment on how they work, because sometimes the angles on these Supras, man, they look so good from some angles, and then other angles you're a bit like, ooh, yeah, that's a bit awkward. I think they've done a really good job. I am excited to see the other Supras from Brad Jones Racing. Usually Brad Jones does a pretty good job of the liveries, and the R&J Batteries one has probably been the more disappointing one over the last couple of years. It's probably been the more plainer one of the liveries that's come out of there. So I am looking forward to the other two. We might have seen the Cam Hill car by the time that this video comes out. Other cars that we've seen this week, the Tickford racing cars, Cam Waters. I mean, it is a stunning livery, but it's exactly the same again. Yeah. Thomas Randall, it's the same again. They've gone it more metallic though with the colours, which I really like that. I think they've spruced it up a little bit. My concerns with that one is the rear quarter panel. My God, that is a lot of white real estate. That just sings to me that they still haven't been able to sell that area. And I know they started off last year with that big Tickford engineering sticker that disappeared really quickly. I'm not sure why. But yeah, both cars look good, but it's kind of pretty much the same as last year. And then we also got to see the Blanchard racing cars, Jimmy Golding's Cool Drive car. Well, yeah, the Cool Drive colours, they just work. And it's the same as last year and all of that. But we haven't quite got as bored of that, I suppose, as what we have of the monster liveries yet. But yeah, I'm really happy with that car. The Aaron Cameron car, wow. Yep. 2 thumbs up on that one. It looks really good. My biggest criticism, though, I would have probably made the logos bigger. Like the Blast one, the way they've got it on the rear quarter panel with the way that white line kind of goes through, I think they probably should have made it a little bit smaller so it actually fit in with the white line, or gone bigger so that it's just bigger and bolder. And yeah, you're like, bam, I've stuck that Blast logo on there. And the same with the Lick and Malloy one down the door, make it bigger kind of. I know a lot of these companies, our logo has to be this big and you have to read it perfectly. Sometimes I think, maybe just go out on a limb and bam, big it up and really make it kind of in your face. Who cares if, especially say the Lick and Malloy one where you've got the emblem thing around it or whatever you call it, even if that's cut off a little bit but really down there. Anyway, that is my opinion. Down in the comments, let me know what you think of the liveries so far. I'll cover off the last few with my race review next week. Who are you predicting for the racing on the weekend? And also, I know these cars have nothing to do with the racing or anything, but I did an unboxing video on these guys last week, and I keep looking at them. At the moment, they're on my desk, right close. I'm looking straight at them. These two... I thought the Garth Tander car was going to be the one that, that was the one. I was like, Garth Tander's first race win. these two, I keep looking at them, and yeah, at the moment they're my favourite cars until I get the next model car, and then that'll be my favourite. But anyway, until next time, enjoy the racing on the weekend. I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.